We're kicking off today with the men's Elimination Chamber match as Logan Paul was the first to enter a pod, while Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins started the action inside the unforgiving steel structure. The Toronto crowd was clearly against Paul, reacting with loud boos whenever he gained momentum and erupting in cheers every time he was on the receiving end of a beatdown. Surprisingly, McIntyre was the first man eliminated, falling to a clever roll-up by Damian Priest. Frustrated, McIntyre retaliated with a devastating Claymore kick before exiting the chamber. Later, Logan Paul delivered an incredible frog splash from the top of the pod to eliminate Priest. CM Punk got a huge reaction when he hit Paul with the GTS, eliminating him moments later. A tense exchange followed as Punk initially rejected a handshake from Cena, but then embraced him, only for the two to start trading blows. Given their long history, the final three of Punk, Cena, and Rollins made for an intriguing showdown. Cena took time to recover after being sent crashing through a pod window. Once he was back in the fight, he and Punk teamed up to hit their finishers on Rollins, eliminating him from the match. However, Rollins wasn't done. He stayed at ringside and delivered a vicious stomp to Punk before Cena locked in the STF, forcing Punk to pass out. With that, Cena secured his WrestleMania 41 title shot against Cody Rhodes. The structure of this match was unexpected, but with so many top names involved, early eliminations were inevitable. Still, the match delivered an entertaining spectacle while also setting up potential rivalries for the road to WrestleMania. However, what happened after the match left the WWE Universe in absolute shock. John Cena, the face of WWE for 2 decades, turned heel in one of the most jaw-dropping moments in wrestling history. After Cena's victory, Cody Rhodes made his way to the ring, leading to a tense exchange. Cena respectfully held the ropes open for him, and after a handshake, The Rock's music hit. But the Great One wasn't alone, he had Travis Scott by his side. Scott's words to The Rock had to be censored, but the moment built suspense for what was about to unfold. The Rock extended his arms, waiting for Cody to accept his proposal. Instead, Cody looked around at the electric Toronto crowd and made his choice clear. "I want it all, Rock. My soul no longer belongs to me. You know why? Because I gave my soul to this ring and these people a long time ago." The crowd erupted and Cena seemed to approve, but then Cody delivered the ultimate insult, "Hey Rock, go f*** yourself." The crowd exploded, and before anyone could process it, Cena blindsided Cody with a brutal Rolex shot to the head. The audience was left in complete disbelief. John Cena had officially turned heel. What followed was pure destruction. Cena smashed Cody's championship belt over his head, leaving him bloodied in the ring. In a particularly vicious moment, Cena and Travis Scott held Cody down while The Rock whipped him with the infamous weight belt engraved with Dusty Rhodes' death date. With Cody left in shambles, Cena, The Rock, and Scott exited together, solidifying one of the most surreal moments in WWE history. Wade Barrett and Michael Cole later helped Cody out of the ring. Cena's shocking heel turn, reminiscent of Hulk Hogan's 1996 transformation, has changed the entire landscape of WrestleMania 41. But the biggest question remains, why did he do it? Do you think Cena will win at WrestleMania 41 and become a 17-time champion? During the Elimination Chamber post-show, Triple H addressed Cena's shocking turn. He praised Cena for taking such a bold step during what would be his final year in WWE. He said, "When you get to the point where you have months left on your career and your dream, and the thing that launched you to the rest of the world, to movie stardom, to everything else that he has in his life, it puts you in a different perspective. It puts you in a place where it's now or never. You can ride that out, and you can rest on the things you've done. You couldn't blame John for doing that if he came in and did a nostalgia tour and waved to the crowd. Or someone like him can double down and say, screw it, I want to be challenged till the last minute. I want to go down on my shield. I want to give everything I have. I want to challenge myself. I want to do something different. I want to have it all." That's the beauty of John Cena. He's always been the guy who does what's best here. But he's always the guy who will jump out on a limb. He's always been the guy who will get out there and stick his neck on the line and gamble on himself, and he did that tonight, and it's incredible to watch. Even Cena himself made an appearance but had nothing to say. He simply walked into the press room, picked up a microphone, dropped it on the table, and left, leaving more questions than answers. Drew McIntyre's elimination from the men's Elimination Chamber match came as a shock to many. The Scottish Warrior, heavily rumored to win his second Chamber match and headline WrestleMania 41, was instead caught off guard by a clever roll-up from Damian Priest. The 3-count left McIntyre in disbelief, and in a moment of frustration, he retaliated with a devastating Claymore kick to Priest before making his exit. With an early elimination, McIntyre now finds himself at a crossroads. Here are 2 possible reasons why WWE booked his premature exit from the chamber. Rumors have been swirling that WWE has been planning a major WrestleMania showdown between McIntyre and Priest. The 2 superstars share a contentious history dating back to last year's WrestleMania, where Priest cashed in his Money in the Bank contract on McIntyre. Their rivalry seemingly reignited in the 2025 Royal Rumble, with Priest eliminating McIntyre in the Men's Rumble match. However, that moment didn't receive the spotlight it deserved, now with McIntyre's post-elimination attack on Priest, an act that later contributed to Priest's own elimination. WWE may have set the stage for the long-anticipated clash at WrestleMania 41. Another possible reason for McIntyre's early exit could be his recent booking struggles. Over the past year, the Scottish Warrior has suffered several high-profile losses. His feud with CM Punk saw him fall short on 2 occasions, and more recently, he lost crucial matches to Jimmy Uso on SmackDown and Jey Uso on Raw's Netflix debut episode. Apart from a handful of victories over Sami Zayn, McIntyre has struggled to defeat top-tier opponents. WWE's booking may have significantly impacted his standing as a main event competitor. His early elimination from the Chamber could reflect that shift, positioning him below the top-tier superstars currently dominating the WrestleMania landscape. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the Chamber match, Seth Rollins' interference cost CM Punk a shot at WrestleMania, further teasing a collision between Punk, Rollins, and Roman Reigns. With Jey Uso already locked in as the Royal Rumble winner, spots at the top of the WrestleMania card are limited. Are you excited for McIntyre vs. Priest at WrestleMania 41? And what are your thoughts on a possible Punk vs. Rollins vs. Reigns showdown? Let us know in the comments below. Jade Cargill is back, and she made sure the entire WWE Universe felt her presence at Elimination Chamber. After months away following a brutal backstage assault in November, Cargill returned in the most dominant way possible. One of the marquee bouts of the night was the Women's Elimination Chamber match, where 6 combatants battled for the shot at the Women's World Championship at WrestleMania. The match kicked off with Naomi and Liv Morgan, but before they could even lock up, Cargill's entrance music hit, sending shockwaves through the Rogers Center. Without hesitation, Cargill stormed the ring and went straight for Naomi, unleashing a savage assault that left the Toronto crowd chanting "Holy sh!" Officials rushed to restore order, but they were no match for Cargill's sheer power. She decimated Naomi, leaving her completely unable to compete. As Belair pleaded from inside her pod, Naomi was declared unfit to continue and stretchered out of the arena. The attack threw the Women's Elimination Chamber match into chaos, completely shifting its dynamic. With Naomi out, Morgan braced for the next entrant, Bianca Belair. Before Belair could even process what had happened, Morgan ambushed her, slamming her into the unforgiving Chamber structure. As the action continued, Roxanne Perez entered her first ever Elimination Chamber match. The 3 competitors battled it out until Bayley made her entrance, immediately targeting Perez. The match remained highly competitive with no eliminations until Alexa Bliss joined the fray. After a hard-fought struggle, Liv Morgan eliminated Bayley with an Oblivion. Roxanne Perez was the next to go after Alexa Bliss nailed her with a Twisted Bliss, capitalizing on Morgan's codebreaker. Belair barely escaped taking a Pop Rocks from Perez before Bliss took her out. Bliss then landed a brutal Abigail DDT on Belair, but Morgan seized the moment, rolling up Bliss for the pin and eliminating her. This left Morgan and Belair as the final 2 competitors. The closing moments saw an all-out war between Belair and Morgan, continuing their heated tag team rivalry. Belair even used her signature braid as a weapon, whipping Morgan so hard that she was left with a massive bruise, later dubbed by Pat McAfee as the loudest whip in history. In the end, Belair blocked an Oblivion and turned it into a KOD, securing the victory and making history as the first woman to win the Elimination Chamber twice. As Belair stood on the entrance ramp pointing to the WrestleMania sign, Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley made a surprise appearance confronting the EST, but before anyone could process what was happening, Io Sky entered the scene, hinting at a potential triple threat showdown at WrestleMania 41. With Raw on the horizon, the big question remains, who will be the defending Women's World Champion at WrestleMania, and where does WWE go from here? While Belair is undoubtedly a strong pick for WrestleMania, was she the best choice? Fans have debated whether someone else should have won. Roxanne Perez, the ultimate underdog, could have shocked the world with a victory, setting up a classic David vs. Goliath clash against Ripley or Sky at WrestleMania. A win for Perez would have mirrored the legendary WrestleMania 31 moment when an underdog Roman Reigns took on Brock Lesnar for the World Heavyweight Championship. Bayley was another strong contender. A former Royal Rumble winner and fan favorite, she could have been the perfect challenger while allowing WWE to further explore the Belair-Naomi Cargill storyline. A Bayley win could have also led to an intense Ripley-Io Sky feud, a matchup that has the potential to captivate audiences. Alexa Bliss was another intriguing option. She's been receiving massive crowd reaction since her Royal Rumble return. Eliminating Perez in the Chamber only to be taken out by Morgan left some fans wondering, what if the goddess had won? With ongoing hints of her aligning with the Wyatt Six, WWE could have tied a horror faction storyline into a championship feud at WrestleMania, elevating both Bliss and the horror faction. So was Bianca Belair the right winner, or should someone else have taken the spotlight? Who do you think should have won, and why? Let us know in the comments. Meanwhile, another war erupted at Elimination Chamber, one that's been brewing for years, Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn in an unsanctioned match. The moment that match was announced, WWE made it clear that there were no rules and no responsibilities. Even the referee, Rod Zapata, wasn't wearing a WWE branded shirt, instead donning a black t-shirt and gloves, anticipating the brutality ahead. The lights dimmed as Owens and Zayn circled each other. Owens threw the first punch and the brawl exploded from there. Zayn, still nursing his injured neck, showed signs of pain early on, but that didn't stop either man from going all out. It didn't take long before weapons came into play. Chairs, kendo sticks, and even a hockey stick got involved, drawing a massive pop from the Canadian crowd. The intensity reached another level when Owens dropped Zayn across the top rope in a move that looked absolutely painful. Later, Owens shocked everyone when he bit Zayn's face, sending the crowd into a frenzy. The action spilled into the crowd and every brutal spot looked as vicious as it felt. Despite the lack of excessive blood, the fight felt appropriately violent. Zayn took a wild bump through two tables, a moment that had fans on their feet. Zayn tried to put Owens away with a barbed wire wrapped steel chair, but Owens refused to stay down. In a nod to his NXT debut, Owens delivered a vicious powerbomb onto the ring apron. One more powerbomb later, he rolled Zayn into the ring for the decisive pin. The bout also required 3 separate referees, with the first dragged by Owens into a haluva kick and the second taken out by Owens after Zayn kicked out of a pin attempt. Just when it seemed Owens was done, he returned to expose the concrete floor, ready to deliver one final devastating blow to Zayn, but before he could, Randy Orton's music hit, signaling his return. Orton stormed down to the ring and Owens invited him in for a fight. Fans erupted, singing Orton's theme song as the Viper made his way inside. The two brawled before Orton dropped Owens with an RKO. Orton then prepared to punt Owens' head, but security swarmed the ring. In true Orton fashion, he responded by delivering RKOs to multiple security guards while Owens made his escape. Now the road to WrestleMania 41 is set for a showdown, dominant Kevin Owens versus the Viper Randy Orton. Who will come out on top? And what's your take on Owens and Zayn's war at Elimination Chamber? Let us know in the comments. During the match, Kevin Owens wrapped a chair around Sami Zayn's neck and sent him crashing into the ring post before delivering multiple apron powerbombs. By the end of the match, the honorary Uce was left battered and motionless, suffering a brutal beatdown at the hands of KO. Michael Cole later confirmed Zayn's injury during Elimination Chamber, urging fans to stay tuned to WWE's social media channels for further updates. The commentator even wished Zayn good luck, though this was purely kayfabe. Sami Zayn is not legitimately hurt. Whether Zayn will be written off television remains to be seen, but we'll keep you posted with any new developments as they unfold. The next tag team showdown featured WWE Hall of Famer Trish Stratus teaming up with rising star Tiffany Stratton to face the powerhouse Nia Jax and the crafty Candice LeRAE. The match kicked off with LeRAE and Stratus starting things off for their teams. Stratus wasted no time, hitting a classic Thez press to fire up the crowd. It didn't take long for the action to spill outside the ring with all 4 competitors getting involved. Stratus, though, showing flashes of her vintage self, had moments where she seemed a bit hesitant. However, as the match progressed, she gradually got into her rhythm and started delivering with confidence. Jax, as always, was a dominant force. At one point, she hoisted Stratus into the air and swung her head into the middle turnbuckle, a brutal-looking spot that had the crowd wincing. Stratus, refusing to stay down, later attempted a top rope Stratusfaction, but the move didn't connect the way she had hoped. After an intense opening, the middle portion of the match slowed down, losing some momentum. However, things picked up again toward the end, and with all 4 women going all out. In the final moments, Stratton capitalized on an opening and nailed her signature moonsault on Jax, securing the victory for her team. This was the first win for the WWE Hall of Famer in 621 days. Her last victory came on the June 19, 2023 episode of Raw against Raquel Rodriguez. A solid tag match with some hard-hitting moments, this one showcased both the veterans and the rising stars in WWE's women's division. And that was Elimination Chamber, guys. How do you rate the overall show? Sound off in the comments below.